Yeah, Vinay, how are you?
Sir, I'm fine. Happy morning. I'm fine, fine, very
Happy
fine.
morning. But why should the morning be happy?
Happy, yeah. I mean, it brings a smile on everyone's face. That's why I feel.
Okay. And why morning?
Morning, good question, sir. I've never dwelt about it on it, but let me think.
Yeah, it can be a happy moment.
Yeah, it could be,
Yeah. It can be a blissful moment.
but
Well,
moment is only for a fraction of a minute. Morning is a bigger duration.
yeah, so what do you know about the morning? You know nothing. Only thing you know is the moment.
Right.
है ना?
No, but right. What you're saying is right. But what my perception is, you're wishing someone for a wider horizon, a
Yeah, so
longer
you say
duration.
happy life,
Yeah,
ne?
possible, yes.
Or you say happy millennium.
But
Be
people don't
happy
want to
for
live
the
that long.
next be happy for the next million years. Yeah. Be free में.
Mhm. People may not like to live that long. Possible.
People don't die, you know that. Nothing dies. What
वो
dies?
भी है.
Tell me. क्या मरता है ये तो बताओ.
Body. Our
बॉडी
body
भी नहीं
मरता है.
मरती है, फॉर योर इंफॉर्मेशन. मैटर कैनॉट बी क्रिएटेड नॉट डिस्ट्रॉयड.
Mhm.
Energy cannot be created not destroyed. Atma cannot be created not destroyed. Mind cannot be created not destroyed. So what is getting destroyed? What is dying? Nothing is dying.
Mhm.
You think something is dying. And you are thinking so because the Britishers thought so.
Right.
Yeah, you are thinking so because the Mughals thought so. Because Islam and Christianity or whatever religion, philosophy has come from that part of the country, they do not believe in the continuity.
Right.
Yeah, that is why they have messengers who keep on coming and giving the message.
Mhm.
So they have a birthday, they have a day of mourning when the person dies.
Right.
And in our philosophy, it is nothing is born and nothing dies. You are permanently here.
Mhm. And what is moksha then?
Moksha is when the Atma, the Purusha, the soul, the conscious entity becomes free of the non-conscious entity. So matter and mind, they are non-conscious, they are inert. And what is conscious is the soul, the Atma, the Purush. That is the way they have been defined. So a human being is a kind of both existences. We cannot call it a mixture because it is not a mishran as per the Yoga Sutras. He says they are not mixed together, okay, but they exist. So that is the cause of all sorrow. That is the cause of all limitations. That is the cause of all the pain and suffering in society. Because that combination, that entity which is in between matter and the spirit is the mind. So mind is what you are born with, mind is what you go with. And all understanding of the Purusha is the mind. It's a mental concept. God is a mental concept, a mental construct. If you do not have the word God in your mind, if you do not have the concept of God in your mind, God does not exist for you. Okay? If God is universally present, like air on this planet, then it is there for all systems. But some belief systems have God, some of them do not have God. But they are also living, we are also living. They also make money, we also make money. They also experience sadness, we also experience sadness. They are born, they die, we are also born and we die. So it is not God which is playing a role. Okay, God is a belief system.
Right.
Are you getting me?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So that's the beauty of the whole thing. There are certain mental constructs to which you give power with your thinking. And the amount of power you give and the amount of power you take possession of with your mind, that becomes your reality. Okay? So if you think you are God, then you become the God. If you think you are a fool, you become the fool. If you think you are Vinay, then you become Vinay. The world calls you Vinay. They put a birth certificate, Vinay born. And they will put a death certificate, Vinay died. Okay, somebody gave you a name, that's all. But that becomes your identity. You are born as that name, you die as that name. But if somebody gives you a name of completeness and says complete, then whatever is associated with that person complete will be complete. He will be complete joy. He will be complete happiness. He will be complete health. He will be everything complete. But just because you do not believe you are complete, you believe you are Vinay, your life is screwed up. Because your father told you, Vinay, this is not the way to live. Vinay, this is not the right thing to do. Vinay, you will end up in a mess. Vinay, how will you earn a living? Vinay, you are a bloody fool. You have scored 40 out of 100 in mathematics. What will happen to you? So that Vinay got corrupted. And that corrupted Vinay is the Vinay you are carrying around inside your head all throughout your life. And that is screwing up your life. That makes you unhappy. Because somebody put in the wrong program. Somebody constructed your mind wrongly. Beyond your control. So today, if you take the name, I am complete. Okay? And you believe that. You have faith in that. You build a conviction on that. Everything in your life will be complete. It will have nothing to do with the number of times you do sex with your wife. It will have nothing to do with the amount of your bank balance. It will have nothing to do with how the children are treating you. It will have nothing to do with your worldly possessions, but you will be complete. You will be complete in joy, complete in happiness, complete in everything you want to think of. Whatever you attach to this complete will be your identity. So we have picked up the wrong identities. That is the cause of the problem. We have got powerful computers, but we have put in the wrong program inside there. And the computer is creating havoc. So all we need to do is look at our program and remove the virus there and put in the Avengers, the Supermen, the Devtas, the gods there. And if you think they are insufficient to give you the reality you want, because whatever you put inside your head will be a reality. So you create your own reality, what you want, and put it there and hold it there, because your mind will resist. Your mind is used to jokers and you are putting in, say, a Superman there. The mind will resist. So you have to hold Superman in there for a sufficiently long time so that the mind accepts that it is a Superman. And then you will become a Superman. That is how you turn into a Hanuman from a monkey. The monkey will never believe he is a Hanuman. You have to put that Hanuman inside his head and hold it there. The monkey will struggle, the monkey will dance, the monkey will squeal, the monkey will pick up a knife and try to cut at you. You simply with patience hold it and realize whatever the monkey is doing to you seems to be real, is not real, it is mental. It is a construct of the mind. Your mind is playing a game with you. There is no real life. And then suddenly when the monkey gets tamed, you will find Hanuman there. And then you will be able to fly, you will be able to pick a mountain, you will be able to do a number of things. People will worship you. You know, there is no Ram Chalisa, there is a Hanuman Chalisa. And people read the Hanuman Chalisa regularly. There are less Ram temples than Hanuman temples. Ram is a mental construct created by somebody. Some says Valmiki created Ram. There are many people who created their own versions of Ram. Tulsidas had his own version of Ram. So there are God knows how many Ramayans out there. Some worship Ram, some do not worship Ram, some worship Ravan. But the reality is you have a mind. You cannot deny that. You know, your mind might have Ravan, Ram or whatever inside, but there is a mind. And it is a monkey mind. It is a mind which is untamed, which is out of control. It is a wild horse. Somebody has to hold that horse, and the horse will jump around. And then you get on that horse, and the horse will not let you be there. It will try to throw you off. You hold on to that horse, come what may. And slowly the horse will tire off. And slowly the horse will give up. And slowly you will be on that horse permanently. And that horse then will give you the world. Man jeeta, jag jeeta. समझ में आया विनय?
नहीं आया sir, but you still require, as you said, no, your father told you got 40 marks, you're a dumb person, and wrong programming has gone into your mind and all. But someone has to guide you. You don't know whether 40 is good or 100 is good or what.
There is no guide. All guides are false guides. All gurus out there are false gurus. Even Buddha is a false guru. Even Nanak is a false guru. Even Muhammad is a false guru. All of them are false. Because the ultimate knowledge, ultimate truth is beyond the human mind. So whatever they are giving you is what they have received. And all of them are not received equally. And all of them have not received the same thing. That is why they are spoken in different languages. And that is why people fight over religion and faith. So that is not the absolute knowledge. That is incomplete knowledge.
But if you don't have any knowledge, yeah, sorry.
No, just hang on. So that is ignorance. Okay? And ignorance is the cause of all sorrow. Avidya, which has been put by Patanjali. Avidya is the cause of all sorrow. Right knowledge is a vritti. That means right knowledge is the cause of all sorrow. That is what Patanjali has said as the first vritti. Second vritti is wrong knowledge. You have assumed something to be right, which is not true. So the goal of yoga is to get right knowledge, complete knowledge, absolute knowledge, true knowledge. It is a search, a quest for that absolute truth. And that truth is inside you. It is not outside you. You are the container of that truth. But you do not know that you have that truth inside you. You have been told the truth is outside. It is in the Rama idol. It is in the Krishna idol. It is in the Guru Granth Sahib. It is in the Quran. It is in the Bible. It is in the Western universities. It is in the science books. You know, it is in physics, chemistry, mathematical formulas. It is in all what the gurus are teaching, what the fakirs have taught. And you're believing that. Okay? That is
But
the
sir,
problem.
you have to start from somewhere.
Yes, start with yourself. Start with yourself.
But if I don't know anything, I have to have something. Like,
If you do not know anything, that is the best thing to start with, because that is complete knowledge. When you have some knowledge, that is incomplete knowledge. But if you have no knowledge, zero, that is completeness. That is why the concept of Shunya came from India. That is why Buddhism talks about nothingness. That is why we talk about Nirakar, Nirgun, Nirvichar, Brahman, Ishwar. You have to clean everything out. Then you reach absolute knowledge. Right now you are filled with knowledge. Filled with what all the school has taught you, the parent has taught you, the friend has taught you, society has taught you, whatever the gurus have taught you, the religious books have taught you, you are full of that. And that is why you are limited, and that is why you are in trouble.
so because I have certain knowledge, I can now unlearn to relearn. But if I have no knowledge, how will I know what is? I don't know anything. So what can I can't take any decision. Right now, I know something. It may be right, wrong. I
will ask you a question. I'll ask you a question. What knowledge do you have? Tell me.
No, whatever I know, that I'm.
Let me hang on. Be specific. I asked you a specific question. What knowledge you know? So you tell me one answer. This is I know. Okay.
I know how to use a mobile and attend the Zoom calls. Okay, I'm
Dheere, dheere,
attending this call.
no, no,
Acha,
I didn't
I'm
get you.
attending. I have a knowledge of a mobile. I can use it and use it. I'm attending this Zoom call because I know about it. Had I
Fine,
not known, I would have not been able to attend this call.
fine. Now because you know Zoom, okay, your mind is filled with Zoom. There might be 100 other applications out there for similar online chatting or
Right.
conversation. You don't
Right.
know that,
Right.
right? So you are trapped in your knowledge. You have
Yeah,
become a
but
slave. You are a slave of what you know.
right.
Yeah. So this is the first limitation. Okay. Now we are taught to hold on to knowledge. Okay. We are taught to grab knowledge. We are taught to remember knowledge. And knowledge is picked up through books, through videos, through educational courses, through interaction with other people. We are collecting knowledge, right? And
Right.
we feel the more knowledge we have, the more happy we will be, the more prosperous we will be, the more healthy we will be. Internet is flooded with 5 ways to achieve this, 10 ways to do that, 3 techniques to be free of this. You know, it is full of knowledge. Google is knowledge, 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 and all that knowledge is crap. All that knowledge is dead. All that knowledge is not conscious. Google is storing its knowledge on computers, on servers, which are non-living. They don't have consciousness. Okay? So that knowledge is matter. That knowledge is a collection of ones and zeros. That knowledge is bytes and gigabytes and terabytes and God knows how many bytes of data. That is not knowledge. Knowledge comes out of experience.
Right.
Right? What is on Google is the knowledge of others apart from you. People across the world have pumped in what they know. And it is available probably free to you on the Google when you search. What is this? Meanings come, articles come. None of them is yours. It is all of somebody else. Okay? So that is dead knowledge. Knowledge always has a creation date and an expiry date. Knowledge changes with time. Knowledge becomes irrelevant with time. Earth was round. Earth was flat. Earth was the center of the universe. Today Earth is nowhere. You know. So knowledge is human knowledge. Stored knowledge, sensory knowledge has tremendous limitations. But the knowledge beyond these 5 senses, knowledge which comes when you tune the mind to the universe, to the creation, then your mind, like a radio receiver, picks knowledge. We are in an ocean of knowledge. This whole existence is knowledge. God is unsurpassed knowledge. If you look outside, anything which you see is knowledge. And that knowledge outside is inside your head, inside your mind. How? Through the 5 Gyan Indriyas. They are the sensing tools, instruments, processes through which you're picking the outside knowledge and bringing it inside you. Okay? So out is knowledge. It is like a fish. A fish can only take in water because it is in an ocean of water. So similarly, we are in an ocean of knowledge. And our inputs are all knowledge. And our outputs are all action. Right. So now, the only thing which a human being can do is act. Now the question is, if your action, the quality of your action is dependent on the quality of the knowledge coming in through the Gyan Indriyas, then only it gets converted into action inside and comes out through the organs of action outside in the physical world, through the Karma Indriyas. So the Indriyas which are going out are Karma, and the Indriyas which are coming in are Jnana. Now if all existence is knowledge, and if you are in a circumstance of knowledge and is not giving you happiness, that knowledge is not giving you happiness, so you have to upgrade your knowledge. So how do you do that? You need to access higher knowledge. And where is that higher knowledge? The knowledge is not outside you. The source of all knowledge is inside you, but nobody told you about it. You don't see your father using it. You don't see your mother using it. You don't see your siblings using it. You don't see your friends using it. You don't see your in-laws using it. You don't see your employees using it. You don't see your teachers using it. You don't see the politicians using it. You don't see the doctors and the engineers and the chartered accountants using it. So you think it does not exist. This is ignorance. They are ignorant, so you are also ignorant, and your ignorance is bliss now. You are happy that they don't know, so I don't know, so what is the difference? But if you locate that source of knowledge, complete knowledge, infinite knowledge within you, free of cost, then you need no teacher in life. Then your action now is based on that level of knowledge. It is coming out of that knowledge. So your action is far, far superior. And then people wonder, how does he know? Where is it coming from? And bol to sahi raha hai, you know. And then you get fresh knowledge. And that fresh knowledge becomes old knowledge the moment it enters the other guy's head, the listener's head. Because that is not his knowledge. That is somebody else's knowledge. So that knowledge was living inside the guy who originated it, who got the connection, who converted it into action through his mouth, through his tongue, and delivered in the form of words. That was conscious activity for him. But the guy who's listening, he's merely storing that knowledge. It is not part of him yet. Okay, so it has gone in, got stored. It is memory, it is smriti, it is a vritti now. And it will live for some time. It will die also. It might go away in 5 minutes. You might forget what you heard. It is not yours. But when you do the connection yourself, that knowledge is ever yours, because you are connected to the source 24/7. It communicates with you 24/7. Even in sleep, the communication is on. You are asking questions, the answers are flowing. It is a flow. It is something very, very difficult to describe. It is like being in a massive, unseen library. You think and the answer is coming. You ask, answer is coming. It is that kind of an experience. These people are called Brahmagyanis in the Indian context. You know, they have knowledge of the entire existence. How do they get that knowledge? So Patanjali says, okay, let's go back to Patanjali now and look at the kind of work our Indian rishis and munis have done. And they have also done because they access that knowledge. So it started with the Vedas, it came to the Upanishads, then it came to the Darshans, right? And slowly it got corrupted and lost. So now, look at what Patanjali is suggesting in his Yoga Shastra, in his Yoga Darshan. He says, Yoga means achieving completeness, total, one, by Chitta Vritti Nirodha. There are fluctuations happening in your mind, in your Chitta. Stop them. You will be complete. When you become zero, you become infinite. And when you become one, you are one. And the rest is not you. But the moment you are zero, you are complete. You are infinite. Now all possibilities are open for you. But the moment you choose one possibility, you are stuck with that possibility. That possibility will roll into action. And your world will start getting created out of that action. Because that possibility becomes subtle, gross, and a physical reality now. Now you cannot do anything about it. Okay, when you are unmarried, you can marry any Tom, Dick and Harry or any Rita, Gita, Meeta in the world. But if you are married, you are limited. You have one wife if you are a Hindu, or a one boy if you are a, say, a gay, you know. So that is the way. Now, why a one wife? One wife also is a thought. So you have a vritti in the chitta. You are attached to that wife, then you have a problem. If you're not attached to that wife, mentally, emotionally, physically, psychologically, at all levels, then you are free. So, what Patanjali says is, to achieve completeness, you need to do two things. One is Vairagya, that is detach. Other is Abhyas, that is action. Now, what detachment? You have your senses, your sense organs. They are attaching itself to objects, to people, to circumstances, to situations. So, cut the cord there. Do not allow your indriyas to get attached to anything outside. Because the reality is not outside. The reality is inside you. It is your mind which is creating everything. It is your mind which is controlling the outer reality. But you think the outer reality is controlling the mind. Because the Western world foolishly believes that. And our education system has been sort of subverted by them. So we also believe that now. The world started with a Big Bang. What Big Bang? It's the most stupidest idea. That means this existence has a starting date? It does not have a starting date. If they have a starting date, let them put it on paper and bet their credibility on it. No scientist will do it. Because if they do it, there will be another joker who will come and say, no, it started further back, further back, further back. Because reality is created by the mind. The more you think, the more reality will come to you. Whatever you think, that reality will become real. We are in an illusory world where our mind is constantly creating. So if you think you are foolish, you are foolish. If you think you are Vinay, you are Vinay. You are born as Vinay, you die as Vinay. If you think you are complete, you are complete. If you think you are God, you are God. That is why India, they say, practice Shivo Hum, Shivo Hum, Shivo Hum, Shivo Hum, Shivo Hum. I am Shiva, I am Shiva, I am Shiva, I am Shiva. So you clean the dirt inside. You purify the mind with I am Shiva, with one pointedness, one thought. So all other thoughts go away. When you go to the world, you have thousands and thousands of thoughts. But when you come inside to Shivoham or any Om or any single thought, then all the kachara is wiped out. Now the internal machine of the brain with 100 billion neurons is under your command. It becomes a Hanuman. Earlier it was a monkey. You had an army of 10,000 monkeys running here and there and doing nothing, causing pain, sorrow and suffering. But if you have one Hanuman inside you, you can gobble up the sun. So that is the journey of completeness. Moving from the incomplete monkey to the complete Hanuman. And the first way is to cut off the world. Cut off the world does not mean you don't live in the world. You live in the world, but don't be attached to it like a chewing gum. Because if you're attached, it will bring you all sorts of pain. So be in the world, enjoy the world, see the world flowing by without becoming part of that world. Just be an image in that world, that's all. Don't be a physical object in that world. Don't put your load on that soil there. Be an image, that's all. And second is practice, abhyas, action. What action? Action of concentration. When you concentrate the mind, when you bring the mind from 1,000 places inside to one place, that is a major battle won. Now your mind has come to the mind. Otherwise, our minds are out in the world. And when they are out in the world, these MNCs play with our minds. They show you ads, they show you nice girls, they give you good offerings. You know, ek ke piche ek free, char ke piche chhe free. Then the politicians come, the lawyers come, the doctors come. They all fleece you. They all fleece you. They all make a guinea pig out of you. Why? Because your mind is not in your control inside your mind, in protection. Your mind is out in the world, vulnerable, searching for pleasure. Okay, desperately trying to get happiness, buy happiness. You go to a movie, pay 300 rupees and you buy happiness. You drink a Coke bottle, pay 20 rupees, you want to buy happiness. You buy an expensive car, you want to buy happiness. You buy a branded shirt, t-shirt, pant, whatever, you want to buy happiness. So you are desperately in the world outside trying to buy happiness, trade happiness. And how do they trade with you? They say, what will you give me? So you start working for them as their slaves. Modern term is employees. Okay, further modern term is team members. So you become their team member. You get up at 6 in the morning and you sleep at 12 in the night, and you are probably 24 hours online doing whatever they want you to do. They pay you some $1,000, $5,000 or some 50,000, 1 lakh, 2 lakh rupees a month, and you spend it all on their products. You go on a vacation, you buy the expensive clothes, you buy expensive perfumes, you buy expensive mobile phones, you buy expensive liquor, you travel abroad. So you spend. Then they tell you, don't worry, we'll give you a credit card, we'll give you a debit card, we will give you a loan against your securities, your collateral. So you end up doing that. So you buy a house, a 20-year loan based on salaries which are yet to come in. And for 20 years you're paying. So they make you their slave machines. You get up in the morning till night, you're slaving for them. But where is freedom? Freedom begins when you leave the world outside. You are not entrapped by their allurements. You are not taken in by their advertisements, by their marketing campaigns, by their new products, by Mark Zuckerberg is now on social media talking about Ray-Ban and something where you can click and do this and do that. And there will be many monkeys who will take that banana. They will take loans also to buy that banana. That banana might be costing in material terms 100 rupees. He will be selling it at 5,000 rupees. And monkeys will line up to buy. Why? Because they want happiness. They want to show to their neighbor, see, I have something extraordinary. I'm superior than you. I have prestige, you know. The monkey wants importance. So those monkeys are trapped. Now the question is that our philosophy, our system gives us a methodology by which we can come out of this trap and rule them. India can rule the world. We have that technology. We have that method to access the entire knowledge of the cosmos. We can come out with billions of copyrights, billions of intellectual property rights. The world will be paying us for the next billion years. It is possible. How? If we start accessing our mind, if we purify the mind, if we get it tuned to the cosmos, the knowledge will flow. And then we register that knowledge and we go to the patent office, the intellectual property office, and say, patent it. But that is what is not happening. We have our youngsters working in their corporate offices world over, USA, Australia, Canada, Germany, London, going to their colleges, picking up their education system, earning for them, making them millionaires, billionaires, trillionaires. So we are the stupidest society in this world. The world has never seen a stupid society like ours. We are happy with what is happening in Pakistan and Taliban. Fine. So that is what you will get as a nation. Our social media is full of Talibani videos, of Pakistani videos. Why is it not full of videos about Singapore, about Malaysia, about Thailand, about Japan, about Korea, about China, about Turkey, about various European countries? Because people in power do not want you to open your eyes and see the world. They want you to be their slave, so you keep on voting for them. You become their vote banks. So they are nurturing their vote banks by spending tons of money on social media. So it's a huge game out there. It is not just because you are an Indian, they are not playing with you. They are playing with you equally. People are greedy the world over. Nationalities don't count in terms of greed. So the greedy people are making the foolish people work for them. That is the equation. And yoga tells you how to come out of it. Yeah, but in this country, yoga is considered to be asana. In this country, yoga is considered to be pranayama. In this country, yoga is considered to be meditation. I tell you, you will not even find 10 people in this country who will be able to properly define correctly what is meditation, and I've experienced that form of meditation which Patanjali talks about as meditation. They are all selling stupid stuff. They are selling copper sheets to you as golden bars. And people are buying. So the point is, you have a mind. This mind is your slave. It will give you whatever you want, provided you know what you want. If you decide, I want to control my mind, the mind will come under your control. If you decide, I want to do this, the mind will do it for you. Because that is the purpose of the mind. Your Atma has come here for this experience. But you have got lost in what other experiences people are foisting on you. The greedy people are trapping you with. The evil people are making you slog for something which is of no value. They are the modern day Rakshasas. You must remember, Ravana had a city of gold, Lanka of gold. Ram didn't have it, Krishna didn't have it, Parshuram didn't have it. Ravana had it. So, we need to understand it is the mind which has to be calmed down. When the mind is free of thoughts, it operates at a higher level. And when it is completely free of thoughts, 24/7, then it operates at the level of God. Whatever you think is bound to happen. So you have to decide where you want to be in between these two extremes. But if the mind is not calm, if the mind is not under your control, then it is under the control of somebody outside you. It could be your banker, it could be your wife, it could be your son, it could be your boss, it could be some ad agency, it could be Ambani, it could be Modi, it could be Mamata Banerjee, it could be somebody else who's controlling all your actions. So we need to find out who is controlling who here. Who is controlling me? Am I my master, or I am somebody's slave? Or I am a slave of 100 people doing different things for them at different points of time. So once this introspection starts, then you become responsible for yourself. And once when you have a passion for self-improvement, understanding the mind, capturing the mind, become the owner of the mind, possessing the mind, then anything and everything you can think of, dream of, is possible. Yeah, any questions?
Yeah, so I have a few questions. One is, what do you mean by calm? Calming the mind.
If the mind has more thoughts,
Okay.
it is not calm. If the mind has some thoughts, it is somewhat calm. If the mind has no thoughts, it is absolutely calm.
So people call that person a mad person, isn't it? If you have no mind, if you have no thoughts.
Who calls a person with no thoughts as a mad person? I never heard it before.
He can't think, or mad, or a low IQ, person with a low IQ rather, who can't think.
I did not say not think. I said no thought. You see, say you have a garage. Okay. If in your garage you keep no car, that does not mean that garage cannot have a car. Okay, it can have a Mercedes. It can have your most costliest car in the world. It can have a rocket there which can take you to the moon. So when I say no thought, I mean an empty garage where there is no car. I do not mean you don't have the capacity to put something in that mind. Okay, I'm not saying a foolish person or dumb person. I'm saying an empty person. Emptiness is not foolishness. Emptiness is the smartest wisdom you can ever think of. It is very difficult to be empty because it is wisdom of the highest order. If you're empty, you are a Buddha. Why a Buddha? Because when you're empty, when there is no impurity in the mind, that is the time it gets tuned to all the knowledge and the knowledge flows in. Gautam Buddha was a Buddha because he had cleaned his mind. His instrument of the mind was ready to receive knowledge and that knowledge poured. Okay, so he was a Buddha. Now, is there only one Gautam Buddha? No. There have been thousands and thousands and thousands of Buddha. But this Buddha got marketed. Okay, so when he got marketed, now he is a Gautam Buddha, and there is a religion. There are lakhs and lakhs and crores of followers. Okay, there are various temples of Buddha. So Buddha was the first so-called Buddha, okay, who started an individual religion in our land. Before that, religion was not there. There were no individual philosophies which are followed like a religion. Okay, you had collective wisdom, Jainism. Before Jainism also, you had this Hinduism or Sanatan Dharma as they call it. That is not some individual's production. Okay, there was thousands of munis, rishis, maharishis, brahma rishis, sapta rishis. Everybody was there. Even Shiv is included. Even Krishna is part of it. So it was a huge collection of wisdom. Gautam Buddha started a personal wisdom. That is something which happened for the first time in the country. And Indian religions, which were popular that time, they were when Buddha came. That time, Jainism was already there very well. Buddhism had just come. Hinduism was already there. And Buddha came up with the philosophy of no God. Okay, and I do not know how many of you know this. Buddha's guru was a Sankhya teacher. Sankhya teacher means a follower of Sankhya Darshan of Kapila Muni. So Buddha took the knowledge of Kapila Muni, the knowledge of Sankhya, and it got created as Buddhism. And he gave it the color of no God. So it started growing. It started growing very fast because people were disillusioned with so-called God-based Hinduism. Okay, it was not giving results. Samrat Ashoka was one of the first people to leave Hinduism and embrace Buddhism, and he became a missionary for that. So around about that time, you see, the Gautam Buddha's arrival led to major changes in Hinduism. Patanjali came and he wrote his Yoga Sutras. Patanjali immediately realized that this ancient knowledge of India will go down in no time. So he collected all the knowledge, yogic knowledge of 10,000, 15,000 years, and put it in the form of sutras. And he actually codified it. It is encrypted. It is not a simple text. He encrypted it, they say, so that Buddha and his followers could not understand it. He wanted to prevent now that knowledge from reaching the Buddhists. So you will find in the 4th chapter of Kaivalya, he has given some 10 points which are against the Buddhist philosophy. He has punctured holes into the Buddhist philosophy. And he has intentionally used multiple terms for the same thing, left certain things vague. He has not given it in a proper, easy to understand format. He has mixed up chapters. He has played around like crazy. So unless and until somebody has dedicated a huge time span to comprehend and understand him, only then you can pick up the Yoga Sutras. That is why even the big gurus today cannot talk about the Yoga Sutras. Okay, even the big mutts of India cannot talk about the Yoga Sutras. Ramakrishna Mission, such a big mission and such committed people, they have only one main teacher who resides in California, who talks about the Yoga Sutras once a week, and he has been doing it for 3-4 years now continuously. He is the expert, but his expertise also is corrupted in the sense he is a Vedanta specialist. Ramakrishna Mission follows Vedanta, Advait Vedanta of Shankaracharya, and his interpretation is more from the Vedanta perspective. But Yoga Sutras needs 100% pure perception from the Sankhya angle, because Sankhya is the core. To me, Sankhya is beyond yoga also. If you understand Sankhya, the impossible becomes possible. That is the depth of that knowledge, and it is well structured. There is no ambiguity about Sankhya. But something very funny happened. When Buddha came around about that time, the sutras of Kapil Muni disappeared. No Hindu, you can say mutt, Gurukul had it. It just disappeared. And then Patanjali that time came up with this encrypted form of Yoga Sutras. So Yoga Sutras has Sankhya as the basic core. So he presented that core without talking about Kapila Muni or Sankhya, and he mixed up terms. He changed left and right the terms used in Sankhya to confuse, thoroughly confuse. And then he left it to the Buddhists. So the Buddhists tried to work on that, and they realized it is not working, so they left it. And they went with their own philosophies and their own concepts, and that is why Buddhism got stuck. But Hinduism, if you read that knowledge, if you have access to that knowledge, if you start cleaning up your mind, if you leave the tamas and if you leave the rajas, if you're purely sattvic, then it happens. Now what is tamas? All forms are tamas. So if you're filling your mind with forms of the world, with objects of the world, so that is tamas. Your brain cells have taken pictures and colors of the world. So that tamas is removed by vairagya. Vairagya means no color. So all the brain cells which have taken different colors, different memories, you decolor it, you empty it. So when you detach, when you practice vairagya, you are coming out of all the colors of the world. So the brain cells become empty. Tamas goes away. What is rajas? The mind has a tendency to run into 1,000 places at the same time. So that is rajasic. You have 1,000 monkeys dancing around. Now these 1,000 monkeys dancing around have to be turned into one Hanuman. So how do you do that? You do that by concentration. You first bring your 1,000 monkeys to 900 monkeys. And then you reduce them with your willpower to 800 monkeys, 700 monkeys, 500 monkeys, 5 monkeys, 1 monkey. And when you come to 1 monkey and you're thinking about that monkey, your consciousness is empowering that monkey with your willpower, with your concentration. As you are empowering that monkey over 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, the monkey grows and that monkey becomes a Hanuman. So it is not that Hanuman gets transplanted. You actually create a Hanuman with your work, with your mental work, with your power of concentration. And as your monkey is becoming empowered, then you find the rajas has gone away because 1,000 has been replaced by 1. And you find the tamas has gone away because vairagya has come in. So now you have extreme power because Hanuman has extreme power. But if Hanuman had the mind of a Ravan attached to the Lanka of gold, attached to Sita, what happened? He would be evil. So in order not to be attached to any form, any color, is vairagya. Vairagya allows you to use that power with you for a good purpose when needed. But if vairagya is not there, if your mind are filled up with 1,000 forms, if your eyes are filled up with 1,000 pictures of girls and ladies, then they will pop up again and again because they are sanskaras. They will become real. They will take form. They will take karma. They will come out. So they have to be cleaned. So concentration and vairagya, they go hand in hand. That is why when Patanjali is talking about this abhyas, he says first the abhyas, first concentration, second is vairagya. And then he says, after a particular stage, when you get complete knowledge, when you become a Buddha, now it is vairagya only because the power has come. Now we have to ensure it is correctly used, rightly used. It should not become evil power. So then you reach to the next level of vairagya. It is called param vairagya. So that is the practice now. In param vairagya, you become detached from the whole world. It simply happens. There are simple practices you have to do. It happens. There's nothing rocket science about it. Okay? So it starts appearing. And then you enter into moksha after that. It is not that moksha is a destination which people cannot reach. It was a regular destination for every human life in the Hindu religion. Every person was supposed to follow dharma, have money, artha, have kama, desires, and have moksha. But thanks to our past, thanks to different games which has happened with the Indian mind, we have lost it. So now is the time for us to get it back. And once we get it back, let me tell you, this whole world will go through a major shift. It will become a happy planet, a blissful planet, and then we will have Satyug coming in. So that is the way it's going to roll out. Now the question is, why are you here? You know, you are here because of your sanskaras. So there is something in your past somewhere which is bringing you here. So there is something about this which will happen in your life. I do not know who is going to play what role, but it is going to happen. Yeah, that is the way the creation moves. This existence moves. And that is the way that knowledge is flowing to you. And one day you will find that you are opening a door and you have the whole ocean of knowledge there in front of you. And it will be there as a drop. It will say, why don't you swallow me in? You know, I'll fill you with complete knowledge. And you will swallow it in because you have no choice. You are destined to do that. That is what the theory of karma is all about. So you will take it in. And that knowledge will be in you. And it cannot remain in because knowledge in has to come out as action. Food in has to come out as shit. So the knowledge in has to come out as action. So when you have complete universal knowledge, what will happen? You will have complete universal action taking place on the globe. The whole scenario will change. So that is what is happening. That is what is cooking up. Outside we have COVID. We are under attack by an evil force. And inside the work is on. So we are the resistance. We are accessing that supreme knowledge. You can say you are in the matrix. Okay. Now which one of you is going to be Neo? I do not know that. But we are inside the matrix. And there is happening. Things are going on. Systems have taken over. And we are beating those systems and we will be completely eradicating them, decimating them. And we will create a new world, a new civilization. So that is what is happening here. That is what Yoga Sutras are about. This country had 397 Brahma Rishis. They created 397 Brahmans, universes. This is the kind of knowledge we have. Our ancestors had. We are their blood. Right? Their DNA runs in us. So that is why this knowledge was kept safe. It was kept safe from the Muslim invaders, from the Christian invaders. Now the time has come for the Hindus to come up and bring out that knowledge. But not in a narrow way, the way the BJP and the RSS people are doing. It has to be done in a broader way. So that they will also come. You know, they are the initial force which is moving in and decimating the opposition. And later on the finer force will move in, who will bring about the change, the real change, not the external outward looking change, the real change at the very sublime, subtle level. So that is what the whole game is about. Yeah. Any questions you may ask?
Sir, I have a question, but it will extend into the next session. So probably next time I'll take it up.
Okay. Okay. So if there are no questions, can we close?
I can ask you a question which you can park it for now and we can discuss next time. Do you want me to leave that question?
I don't want to park anything, you know. I want to keep my garage empty. Probably that rocket might come which will take us to the moon. Okay.
अच्छा संजय जी,
बोलिए.
मैं जैसे आपने कहा यदि आपने इफ यू थिंक यू आर गॉड, तो आप कैसे गॉड कैसे समझ सकते हो कि यू आर गॉड?
आप पहले गॉड को डिफाइन करिए. व्हाट डू यू मीन बाय गॉड?
गॉड मीन्स ईश्वर, भगवान.
डिफाइन ईश्वर.
उससे ही यदि कोई सुप्रीम पावर है तो भगवान के रूप में उनको मानते हैं, क्योंकि उन्हीं से ही ये सब पूरा चल रहा है. कोई तो पावर है, कुछ तो है.
भगवान को किसने बनाया?
अब वो तो मैं नहीं बता सकती.
मैं आपको बताता हूँ. आपने बनाया है. अब बाहर अगर एक आम का पेड़ है तो आम के पेड़ को किसने बनाया? बीज ने बनाया है. वो बीज से, धरती से आम का पेड़ आया. अब वो बीज कहां से आया? वो आम के पेड़ से आया. आम का पेड़ कहां से आया? बीज से आया. है ना? तो ईश्वर और आदमी दोनों एक दूसरे को पैदा करते हैं. ये जो क्रिएशन है इसका यही फंडामेंटल प्रिंसिपल है. वो कहते हैं ना, मुर्गी आई पहले की अंडा. वो सही क्वेश्चन है. या सही क्वेश्चन है. पहले ईश्वर आया कि पहले आदमी? या तो उसमें क्या है कि अगर आप पहले आ गए और आपको ईश्वर का नहीं मालूम है, आप ईश्वर को लाए अपने खोपड़ी में और आपने उसको पूरी शक्ति दी, उसकी पूजा पाठ करी, तो जैसे वो बंदर हनुमान बन रहा था वैसे वो आपका वो ईश्वर जो है वो संपूर्ण ईश्वर बन जाएगा। तो उस ईश्वर को किसने पैदा किया? आपने पैदा किया। लेकिन वो सृष्टि किसने बनाई? आपकी, उसी ने बनाई। फिर आपको समझ में आया मैं क्या बोला?
हाँ। एक बार जरा सा थोड़ा सा क्लियर करना होगा कि मतलब हर कोई सोचे कि मैं ही भगवान हूँ,
हाँ,
तो कैसे ये होगा?
कैसे क्या होगा?
एक कैसे चलेगी दुनिया? हर कोई यही सोच ले कि मैं ही
बहुत
भगवान हूँ।
बहुत बढ़िया चलेगी। बढ़िया क्यों नहीं चलेगी बताइए मेरे को।
कोई किसका कैसे सुनेगा, कैसे करेगा, क्या होगा?
नहीं,
अभी तो भगवान का डर है, एक सुप्रीम पावर का डर है कि ये भगवान है, यदि कुछ गलत काम करेंगे तो भगवान कुछ करेगा, मतलब भाई नो दंड देगा, कुछ न किसी रूप में कुछ होगा।
कहां से आपने सीख लिया कि भगवान का डर होना चाहिए हिंदुओं को? ये डर मुसलमानों को होता है कि जजमेंट डे होगा और ऐसा होगा वैसा होगा। आपने कौन से शास्त्र में पढ़ा है कि आपको अपने भगवान से डरना चाहिए?
डरना नहीं चाहिए, मतलब एक कुछ तो है।
अरे कहाँ पढ़ा है आपने? आपका सोर्स ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन क्या है? आपने जो ज्ञान अंदर लिया कहाँ से आया?
नहीं, समझ लीजिए कि किसी को कुछ आज गलती कुछ कह दिया, भाव भी गलत कर दिया, कुछ हो गया, तो आज लगता है कि नहीं मैंने उसके मन को दुखाया, ये किया, तो जरूर कुछ मेरा भी उसमें कुछ दोष लगेगा मेरे को।
हाँ, तो उसमें ईश्वर का कोई रोल नहीं है, उसको लॉ ऑफ कर्मा बोलते हैं। आप आज एक बात बताइए, आज आप सड़क पे गाड़ी चला रही हैं, आपने सामने गाड़ी वाले को ठोक दिया, तो वहां ईश्वर नहीं आएगा, वहां पे पुलिस वाला आएगा। बोलेगा लाइसेंस दिखाओ, बोलेगा देश का कानून ये है, तो देश का कानून है ना, लॉ है। तो उसी प्रकार एक लॉ ऑफ कर्मा है, वो लॉ ऑफ कर्मा चालू हो जाएगा। आपको पता है धरती पे कितने लोग हैं जो कि ईश्वर को नहीं मानते हैं? आप जानते हैं बात?
हाँ, बहुत लोग नहीं मानते हैं।
जैन धर्म नहीं मानता है, आपको मालूम है ये बात?
तीर्थंकर मतलब लाइक यू नो मोक्ष।
तीर्थंकर ईश्वर नहीं है। तीर्थंकर इज नॉट गॉड। जैन धर्म में कोई क्रिएटर नहीं है जिसने की सृष्टि का निर्माण किया है। ओके, जैन धर्म में कोई क्रिएटर नहीं है जो कि सिस्टम को रन कर रहा है। लॉ ऑफ कर्मा चल रहा है और ये लोग ज्ञान के मार्ग पे हैं, ज्ञान ले रहे हैं और सैक्रिफाइस कर रहे हैं। सैक्रिफाइस करते हैं तो क्या होता है? त्याग करते हैं तो क्या होता है? तो जो मन में फॉर्म्स आए हुए हैं, जो तमस आया हुआ है, वो गिरता रहता है। हाँ, तो तमस की सफाई उससे होती है। और तपस्या से, ध्यान से भी आपका रजस घटने लगता है, आपका तमस
संयम में आता है।
संयम से भी आपका रजस तमस घटने लगता है। जब आप रजस तमस को हटा देते हैं तो क्या बचता है? सत्व बचता है। और जब सत्व बचता है तो सत्व क्या है? ज्ञान है सत्व। जब आपका सत्व बहुत ज्यादा बढ़ जाता है तो बहुत ज्यादा ज्ञान आपके पास अपने आप आ जाता है। सत्व मतलब ज्ञान, प्रकाश, लाइट, नॉलेज। तो आपको कचरा हटाना है, बस वो ज्ञान आपके अंदर है। कचरा हटाने का काम आपका है।
बोलते हैं मंदिर, जो बोलते हैं तो बोलो मन के अंदर ही ये मंदिर है, भगवान सब कुछ है, मंदिर जाने की भी जरूरत नहीं है।
आप देखिए, कौन क्या बोलता है उसको छोड़ दीजिए, उसकी जो बुद्धि है, जो उसने सुना पढ़ा लिखा, उसके हिसाब से बोलता है। आपको सच का अपने आप पता लगाना है। दुनिया में अलग अलग लोग अलग अलग बात बोलते हैं। मुसलमान कुछ बोलते हैं, क्रिश्चियन कुछ बोलते हैं, जैनी कुछ बोलते हैं, पारसी कुछ बोलते हैं, सिख कुछ बोलते हैं, पता नहीं कितने प्रकार के विचारधाराएं हैं। वो सबको छोड़ दीजिए ना, आपको अपना रास्ता खुद खोजना है। अब ऐसा नहीं है कि आपके पिताजी जैनी हैं तो आपको भी जैनी बनना है। लेकिन क्या होता है भारत में, दुनिया में होता है, बच्चा पैदा हुआ, जैन माँ बाप हैं, वो जैन का स्टैंप लगा दिया, बर्थ सर्टिफिकेट लिख दिया जैन। अब वो बच्चे को मालूम भी नहीं जैन क्या है, वो जैन बन जाता है ना? ऐसा नहीं होता। यही बहुत बड़ी ब्लंडर है हमारे सिस्टम की, क्योंकि हर कोई सोचता है कि मैं अपने धर्म का प्रचार करूं, अपने धर्म को बढ़ाऊं। कोई ये नहीं सोचता है कि वो जो नया जीव आया है, वो जो बच्चा जो आया है, उसका जीवन पार लगे। वो सोचता है कि वो जैन बनेगा तो पार लगेगा, जैसे बाप का लग गया पार। ना बाप का लगा, ना दादा का लगा, ना परदादा का लगा। किसी का नहीं लगा, लगा होता तो थोड़ा शरीर में आता है, वो तो मोक्ष में कहीं बैठा होता है, केवल्य में होता है, क्यों आता है यहाँ पर? वो तो खुद फंसा हुआ है और बेटे को फंसा रहा है। आपको समझ में आ रही है मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ?
हाँ, समझ में आ गया।
हाँ,
तो कर्म से ही सब कुछ है, कर्म ही।
आपके अंदर चित्त है, आपके बाहर दृश्य है।
हम्म,
वो दृश्य है जो आपका चित्त देख रहा है।
हम्म,
आपके चित्त से जो आप सोच रहे हैं उसके अनुसार बाहर का दृश्य पलटता रहता है। आपको चित्त में गुस्सा आ जाएगा, बाहर का वही दृश्य का मतलब अलग हो जाएगा।
जैसा आप सोचेंगे वैसा होगा।
हाँ, तो बाहर का जो दृश्य है वो आपका चित्त कंट्रोल करता है, और आपका चित्त क्या करता है? बाहर के दृश्य को देखता है ना? और किसके लिए देखता है? आत्मा के लिए देखता है। और जब आपको ये समझ में आ जाएगा, जब आप इस पे ध्यान लगाएंगे कि मेरे को जो कुछ भी दिख रहा है, जो भी मेरा चित्त देख रहा है, वो आत्मा के लिए है, तब आपके अंदर आत्मा की सोच बढ़ने लगेगी, आत्मा का आपको एहसास होने लगेगा, आत्मा जिंदा हो जाएगी आपकी। अभी क्या है, जैसे आपने ईश्वर को पैदा किया, बड़ा किया, पाला पोसा, और ईश्वर आपके जीवन को चलाने लगता है, वैसे आपको आत्मा पे चिंतन करके, मनन करके, ध्यान करके उसको जगाना है। तब आपको समझ में आएगा कि बाहर दृश्य है, मेरा चित्त देख रहा है, बाहर के दृश्य को पैदा कर रहा है, और किसके लिए कर रहा है ये नाटक, ये पिक्चर? ये कर रहा है आत्मा के लिए। आत्मा के लिए क्यों कर रहा है? क्योंकि आत्मा ये भोग चाहती है, आत्मा ये अनुभव लेना चाहती है। तो आत्मा अपने अनुभव के लिए, अपने भोग के लिए प्रकृति को जागृत करती है, मूल प्रकृति को जो सो रही है उसको काम पे लगाती है, और वो दृश्य चालू होते हैं। आपको समझ में आ रहा है मैं क्या बोल रहा हूं?
हाँ, समझ में आ रहा है, लेकिन ये आत्मा भी कुछ चाहती है।
हाँ, ये पूरा खेला आत्मा का है। आत्मा चाहती है, आत्मा देखती है, कुछ कर नहीं सकती है। आत्मा को सिर्फ कॉन्शियसनेस है, और आत्मा की कॉन्शियसनेस जिस चीज पे भी जाती है वो दृश्य सामने आ जाता है, क्योंकि वो आत्मा इतनी प्योर है, उसमें न तो सत्व है, न तो रजस है, न तो तमस है, निराकार है, निर्गुण है, निराकार है। उसमें एक भी चीज के प्रति कॉन्शियस थॉट आ जाए, कॉन्शियसनेस आ जाए, तो फुल पावर में, फुल ब्लास्ट में बाहर दृश्य खड़ा हो जाता है। प्रकृति 1 सेकंड में खड़ी होती है, दृश्य खड़ा कर देती है और बोलती है मालिक कैसा लगा। और अगर वो आत्मा को वो भोग अच्छा लगा तो प्रकृति उस प्रकार के और भोग लेके आती है। और अगर आत्मा को वो भोग अच्छा नहीं लगता है, मतलब आत्मा पहले भी वो सारे भोग देख चुका है, उब गया है, बोर हो गया है, तब वो दिशा चेंज करती है। अब वो उसको योग दिखाती है, फिर उसको केवल्य में डाल देती है। समझ में आ रहा है आपको अरुणा जी?
अच्छा, ये कि जैसे कि मैं मान लीजिए कि मैं घूमने का बहुत शौक है,
घूमने
ट्रैवलिंग का।
हाँ।
तो देख लिया, अभी सब देख लिया, लेकिन ये कोरोना में आके ऐसा हो गया कि अब मैंने बहुत देख लिया, अब कहीं जाने की इच्छा नहीं है, बस ये अब सब कुछ बहुत देख लिया। तो ये सब क्या आत्मा ही सोच रही है?
हाँ हाँ। अभी जब ये आत्मा का भटकाव और इंद्रियों का सेवन पूरा हो जाता है ना, तब वो आत्मा जो है मन पे फोकस करती है, चित्त पे काम करती है, और चित्त पे काम करते करते रोल बैक करके आत्मा में प्रवेश कर जाती है। अभी क्या है कि आपकी आत्मा दुनिया में है, फिर अभी चित्त पे है। जब दुनिया से बोर हो जाएगी चित्त पे आ जाएगी, या दुनिया से दुखी हो जाएगी तो चित्त पे आ जाएगी, खोजेगी क्या करूं क्या करूं क्या करूं, तब खोजते खोजते चित्त पे आ जाएगी। और चित्त में अपने आप को समझने की कोशिश करेगी, अपने आप को समझाने की कोशिश करेगी, नए चीज़ों को सीखने की कोशिश करेगी, नए गुरुओं से मिलेगी, नए शास्त्रों को पढ़ने की कोशिश करेगी, सत्संग करेगी, वो सब गेम में आ जाएगी। तो आप देखेंगे अधिकतर लोग 35, 40, 45 साल के बाद ये गेम में आ जाते हैं, और उसके बाद खोजते हैं। ओके, कोई धर्म में खोजता है, कोई अध्यात्म में खोजता है, कोई समाज सेवा में खोजता है, कोई लिखने में, कोई भजन में, हर कोई खोजता है उस टाइम। तो हर एक को अलग अलग जगह मिलने लगता है। तो क्या है, वो सब एक्सपीरियंस है। और करते करते फिर वो धीरे 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 घुस जाता है आत्मा में। अगर उस जीवन में नहीं घुसा कोई बात नहीं, वो पिक्चर खत्म नहीं हुई है, अब उसका पिक्चर का सेकंड पार्ट आएगा, वो फिर नया शरीर लेके आएगा जहाँ पे उसका खत्म हुआ रोल, शरीर खत्म हुआ, टपक गया जहाँ शरीर, वहाँ पे वो नया चोला पहनेगा वापस, उसके अनुसार जो चित्त की कंडीशन होगी उसके अनुसार शरीर, उसके अनुसार जीवन, उसके अनुसार उसके भोग वो तय हो जाएंगे, फिर वो उस पर चलेगा। फिर उसके बाद वो अगले जीवन में आएगा, फिर अगले जीवन में आएगा, अगला जन्म लेता रहेगा, और वो कभी ना कभी उसको वापस आत्मा में घुसना ही है। और जब भी वो घुस जाएगा एक बार आत्मा में, तब वो दोबारा शरीर नहीं लेगा, क्योंकि चित्त खत्म हो जाएगा वहां पर, चित्त का काम खत्म हो गया। क्योंकि चित्त पूरा नाटक कर रहा था, आत्मा के लिए अलग अलग दृश्य दिखा रहा था, अब वो आत्मा वापस चली गई है और अपने आप को देख रही है। अभी उसको दुनिया से मतलब नहीं है, वृत्तियों से मतलब नहीं है, संस्कारों से मतलब नहीं है, कुछ भोग नहीं चाहिए, कुछ दृश्य नहीं देखना है, तो क्या करेगी चित्त? चित्त का काम खत्म हो गया, चित्त बोरिया बिस्तर बांध के चल लेती है मूल प्रकृति के अंदर वापस।
समझ में आ गया।
तो ये जब आपको समझ में आएगा ना, और आपको आया है, अब आप देखेंगे आपके पास ज्ञान अपने आप बह के आएगा। आपको किताबें पढ़ने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी, आपको मुझ जैसे लोगों की सुनने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी, अंदर से ही वो फाउंटेन चालू हो जाता है, अंदर से ही वो झरना चालू हो जाता है, अंदर से ही वो नदी चालू हो जाती है, नदी का जन्म हो जाता है ज्ञान का।
जरूरत पड़ती है, बिना गुरु के तो ज्ञान नहीं आता है।
गुरु आपके अंदर है, आपको नहीं मालूम है। जब आप वो पवित्र करना चालू करेंगे ना, तमस रजस हटाएंगी, तब आपको आपके अंदर के गुरु का दर्शन होगा। अभी नहीं होगा। ये बाहर जितने भी देदारी गुरु है ना, सब ऐसे ही हैं, सब इंसान हैं, सब में लिमिटेशंस हैं, लेकिन जो अंदर का गुरु आपको दिखेगा फाइनल, हाँ, वो हाईएस्ट है।
उसको अभी समय लगेगा।
नहीं, वो डिपेंड करता है आपके अभ्यास पे, आपके अभ्यास की इंटेंसिटी क्या है, कितना समय कर रही हैं, कितने भक्ति भाव से कर रही हैं, और कितनी तड़प है आपकी, कितना जल्दी आप मिलना चाहती हैं।
तो अभ्यास कैसे करना चाहिए?
अभ्यास जैसे मैंने आपसे बोला कि योग के हिसाब से 3 अभ्यास है, जो 3 प्रैक्टिस करना चाहिए। एक वैराग्य, एक ध्यान, और एक आपका ये ईश्वर प्रणिधाना, ईश्वर के प्रति कमिटमेंट। तो ईश्वर का भी एक डेफिनेशन है योग में, उस डेफिनेशन के अनुसार चलना है। ईश्वर कौन है? आदि गुरु हैं, जिन्होंने सबको ज्ञान दिया है। ईश्वर का कोई धर्म नहीं है, कोई नाम नहीं है। और दूसरा कौन है? ईश्वर। ईश्वर वो बीज है जिससे कि अनंत का ज्ञान निकलता है, बस। मतलब जितना आप उस बीज के बारे में सोचेंगी उतना ज्ञान बढ़ने लगेगा, जितना उस बीज को आप बोएंगी, उसकी परवरिश करेंगी, उतना ज्ञान बढ़ेगा। और जितना जब वो पेड़ लगेगा, उसके जो बीज आएंगे, 100 बीज आएंगे, आप 100 बीज को वापस डालेंगे माटी में, अपने दिमाग के माटी में, अपने मन के माटी में, अपने चित्त के माटी में, फिर उसकी परवरिश करेंगी, उसको ध्यान देंगी, उसको तमस हटाएंगी, रजस हटाएंगी, तो ज्ञान और 100 गुना, 1000 गुना बढ़ जाएगा। मतलब ऐसा अद्भुत एक्सपीरियंस होता है। अरुणा जी, आप सोचेंगे कि क्या बेवकूफ़ी बात लगी पड़ी है, हम बच्चों को स्कूल भेजते ही क्यों हैं? सब तो अंदर ही है, हमको अंदर का ताला खोलना है बस। और हमारे देश में यही होता था पहले। वो गुरुकुलों में क्या होता था? अंदर का ताला खोलना सिखाया जाता था बस, बाकी अंदर से बहता था, है ना। वेद क्या है? वेद अंदर से आए हैं, वेद थोड़ा किसी ने बाहर से डाला है। उपनिषद कहाँ से आए? अंदर से आए हैं। ये तो हमारा देश बेवकूफ बन गया है इन फिरंगियों के चक्कर में, जो अपना लाद कर गए हम पे। उनके चले जाने के बाद भी हम वही चाट रहे हैं बैठ के।
ये बात तो है।
क्योंकि इसमें फायदा है इन लोगों का, जो देश चला रहे हैं ना, उनका फायदा है, इसलिए हो रहा है ये। ऐसा मत समझिए कि सारे देश अलग हैं। ये सारे देश के नेता सब एक है। जैसे कई बार क्या होता है ना, एक फैक्ट्री में मैनेजमेंट और मान लीजिए 4 यूनियन है, तो उनकी मिली भगत रहती है, वो लोग अपने आप पूरा मैनेज करते रहते हैं, है ना। उसी प्रकार से दुनिया चलती है। तो ऐसा क्यों है? क्योंकि दुनिया में जो इकोनॉमीज चल रही हैं वो ट्रिलियंस ऑफ डॉलर्स की चल रही हैं। तो जिनका ये रुपया लगा हुआ है, वो तो चाहेंगे कि वही लोग सरकार में आए जो कि उनकी बात सुने, उनके लिए कानून बनाएं, उनकी कमाई को और बढ़ाएं, है ना। तो वो तो रहते हैं धंधे में 15 साल, 20 साल, 50 साल। नेता लोग तो 5 साल 10 साल आते ही जाते हैं। तो ये लोग नेता लोग को चुनते हैं कि अब हमारे अगले 5 साल के लिए किसको रखें, और उसी के बेसिस पे मीडिया काम करती है, इलेक्शन मशीनरी काम करती है, पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज के टाइप्स होते हैं, सब प्लानिंग से होता है।
उसके फेवर में, उसके
हाँ, ऐसे कोई रैंडम कुछ नहीं है यहाँ पर। कुछ हो ही नहीं सकता है धंधे में। धंधे में एवरीथिंग इज प्लान्ड। आप पूरी प्लानिंग करते हैं, लॉस को मिनिमाइज करते हैं। तो ये मत सोचिए कि कोई भी अमेरिका का जो राष्ट्रपति है वो ऐसे ही आ गया, नहीं। उसके पीछे बहुत प्लानिंग है, बहुत रुपया लगा हुआ है। ऐसे मत सोचिए कि वो अफगानिस्तान से यूएसए ऐसे ही निकल गया है, नहीं। अफगानिस्तान से वो निकलेंगे वो 20 साल पहले तय हुआ है। पूरा प्लान पे चलता है। पता नहीं आपको मालूम है कि नहीं मालूम है, एक जापानीज कंपनी है, उनका 25 साल का रोलिंग प्लान है। एक प्लान 25 साल का है, और टोटल 300 साल के प्लान पे वो लोग काम करते हैं आज के डेट में। आप सोचते हैं मेरे को मालूम नहीं कि 7 दिन बाद क्या टेक्नोलॉजी आएगी। उनको मालूम है 300 साल बाद क्या होने वाला है।
अच्छा।
हाँ, क्योंकि वो लोग वही लाते हैं, वही करते हैं। जब मैं आपसे बोलता हूँ जो आप सोचते हैं वो होता है, तो उनको नहीं मालूम है क्या? उनको भी मालूम है। ये ज्ञान तो उनके पास है। वो लोग भी तो यूज करके रुपया बनाए हैं। वो लोग भी तो प्रोडक्ट तभी बना रहे हैं, हम लोग नहीं बना पा रहे हैं, क्योंकि हमको हमारे देश में कंडीशन ऐसे क्रिएट किए जाते हैं कि वो ज्ञान यहाँ उपयोग नहीं हो। अब आप बताइए कि हमको देश में अच्छे कॉलेज बनाने में क्या तकलीफ है? हमारे बच्चे यूएस क्यों जाते हैं पढ़ने के लिए, है ना। बड़ी बड़ी बातें करते हैं, सुपर पावर, $5 ट्रिलियन इकोनॉमी। अरे भैया, आप ढंग के 50-100 कॉलेज तो बनाओ। एजुकेशन है वो आप नहीं कर सकते हो, तो बड़ी बड़ी बातें करते हैं कि हम आर्मामेंट्स बनाते हैं और इन्वेंशन करते हैं, आदमी हम चांद पे भेजेंगे। अरे बच्चा तुम्हारा यूएस जाता है पढ़ने, यूएस क्या, न्यूजीलैंड जाता है, कनाडा जाता है, जर्मनी जाता है, लंदन जाता है, पता नहीं कहाँ जाते हैं, रशिया जाते हैं, चाइना जाते हैं। मेरा भतीजा लाटविया गया पढ़ने, मेरे को तो मालूम ही था ये देश कहाँ है। बोला क्यों गया लाटविया? बोला यूरोप में है। तो यूरोपियन यूनियन में है। तो बोला वो इंग्लिश में भी पढ़ाते हैं। तो बोला वो मेरे को लाटविया का सिटीजनशिप मिल जाएगा, मेरे को सिटीजनशिप मिलने से वो 26 यूरोपियन कंट्री का मिल जाएगा वीजा परमानेंट। मैं बोला ऐश करो। तो ये तो अवस्था है। हम अपने नौजवानों को अपने देश में रख नहीं पा रहे।
यहाँ तक कि यहाँ से मतलब पढ़ लिख के अच्छी डिग्री लेने के बाद भी सब बाहर चले जाते हैं। यहाँ की जितनी भी क्रीम है सब बाहर जाके, तो देश की उन्नति भी कैसे होगी?
अरे क्यों जाती है बाहर, आप बताइए ना।
वही मैं कह रही हूँ, यहाँ पर उनको नहीं है ना, इतना अपॉर्चुनिटी नहीं मिलती।
अरे यहाँ पे अपॉर्चुनिटी किसको बनाना है? फिरंगी को बनाना है कि हमारे देशवासियों को बनाना है? हमारे नेताओं को बनाना है कि अमेरिकन पॉलिटिकल लीडर्स को भारत की एनवायरनमेंट ठीक करनी है? किसको करनी है? हम 70 साल से कर क्या रहे हैं फिर? वो उसको ब्लेम करता है, वो उसको ब्लेम करता है, वो उसका मजाक उड़ाता है, वो उसका मजाक उड़ाता है। उसी में देश का मजाक बना हुआ है। अब आप सोचिए कि भारत में वो शौच अभियान चल रहा है, ठीक है। अभी पता नहीं क्या पोजीशन है, पहले तो जोरों पे था। अभी सफाई शरीर की ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है कि मन की ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है?
मन की।
और हम कहां पे एफर्ट दे रहे हैं? टॉयलेट्स पे। हाँ, शरीर भी नहीं, टॉयलेट पे, कि आप जो निकाल रही हैं शरीर से बाहर वो साफ हो जाए। तो प्रायोरिटी गलत है और इंटेंशनली है, क्योंकि आपका जब मन साफ करेंगे तो आप क्या देंगे उनको? लेकिन जब टॉयलेट बनेगा तो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट है, टेंडर निकलेगा, बड़ा बड़ा रुपया एक्सचेंज होगा, फंडिंग आएगी इंटरनेशनली भी। तो ये पूरा एक बड़ा बिजनेस है। किसी को देश सेवा में इंटरेस्ट नहीं है, सिर्फ स्लोगन है।
सर मोदी में भी नहीं।
देखिए, हम तो जब बोल दिए किसी में नहीं, मतलब किसी में नहीं। मैं आपको अपनी सोच बता रहा हूँ, ठीक है, क्योंकि अगर आप इस पर मेरे से डिस्कस करने बैठेंगे मैं आपको 100 खामियां बता सकता हूँ।
तो कंपेयर टू ऑल सर, एटलीस्ट मोदी थोड़े से अच्छे तो हैं।
मैं नहीं मानता। मैं ये मानता हूँ कि जब आपको ईश्वर ने काबिलियत दी है और समय ने बिठाया है गद्दी पे, तो आपको बहुत बड़े काम करने चाहिए। आप अपनी एनर्जी वेस्ट कर रहे हो राहुल गांधी पे, ममता बनर्जी पे, यू नो, पता नहीं कहाँ कहाँ पे आप लगे हुए हो। तो समय आपको बार बार अपॉर्चुनिटी देता नहीं है। आपको 10 साल विंडो मिल गया, बहुत बड़ा मिल गया भारत में, ये दोबारा नहीं मिलेगा। उसमें आपने इसको वेस्ट कर दिया। मेरा व्यू पॉइंट काफी अलग है इन लोगों से। हम बोलते हैं कि भैया हिंदू हम भी हैं, ठीक है, तुमसे अच्छे हिंदू हैं। अब बताओ। तो इन्होंने क्या किया है कि ह्यूमन माइंडसेट को कब्जा कर लिया है। राइट थिंकिंग पीपल का माइंड ब्रेन वॉश हो गया। लोग डिस्कस नहीं करना चाहते हैं, इश्यू को वे नहीं करना चाहते हैं, समझना नहीं चाहते हैं, बेतुकी बातों पे लगे हुए हैं। और पूरी सोशल मीडिया इनकी कैप्चर्ड है। कैप्चर्ड क्या, इनकी मैन्युफैक्चर्ड है। यही तय करते हैं कौन सा वीडियो बनेगा, कौन सा क्रिएटिव बनेगा, और आधे से ज़्यादा झूठ है। और झूठ भी ऐसा झूठ है कि नहीं बोलना चाहिए, बट क्या करेंगे आप।
और आवाज उठाएंगे उसको मारेंगे।
हाँ, आपकी आवाज उठाने पे इनको आपत्ति है, बोलेंगे आप देशद्रोही हैं। बट समय जो है ना बहुत बलवान होता है। अरे जब रावण को नहीं छोड़ा, हिरण्यकश्यप को नहीं छोड़ा, ओके, कौन बचा है? कोई नहीं बचा है इनमें से। हम बोलते हैं इनको तो छोड़िए, राम को नहीं छोड़ा, कृष्ण को नहीं छोड़ा, अवतार थे तो ले गए ना उठा के उनको भी। नानक नहीं बचा, बुद्ध नहीं बचा, क्राइस्ट नहीं बचा, मोहम्मद नहीं बचा। समय सबको उठा के ले जाता है, तो ये भी जाएंगे, मैटर ऑफ टाइम है बस। कोई दूसरा आएगा, कोई तीसरा आएगा, कोई चौथा आएगा। जिस दिन भारत का नसीब जागना होगा वो जागेगा, कोई ताकत उस दिन रोक नहीं पाएगा, चाहे प्रधानमंत्री कोई भी हो। तो बात वो नहीं है। बात यह है कि हमको ये सोचना है कि हम अपने साथ क्या कर रहे हैं। मेरे माइंड में मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ? क्या मैं प्यूरिफाई कर रहा हूँ माइंड को? क्या मैं माइंड को कंट्रोल में ले रहा हूँ? क्या मैं रजस तमस निकाल रहा हूँ? क्या मैं वो कनेक्शन ले रहा हूँ और ट्रुथ से, नॉलेज से, जो कि अंदर स्टेप बाय स्टेप पतंजलि समझाते हैं कैसे आता है। बोलते हैं बाहर जो आपको दिखता है वो सत्य है, लेकिन अंदर जो चालू होता है आना वो ऋतंबरा है। ऋतंबरा मतलब जो सत्य आपको बाहर दिखता है उसका कारण आपको समझ में आता है कि क्यों दिख रहा है आपको बाहर, वो ज्ञान चालू होता है। और वो ज्ञान बढ़ते 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 पूरा ब्रह्मांड का ज्ञान आपको दे देता है कि ब्रह्मांड क्यों खड़ा है। और फिर आपको इतना ज्ञान आ जाता है, इतनी क्षमता आ जाती है कि आप अणु पे ध्यान लगाएंगे आपको अणु का पूरा ज्ञान आ जाएगा। आप ब्रह्मांड पे ध्यान लगाएंगे पूरा ब्रह्मांड का ज्ञान आ जाएगा। जहां आप अपना माइंड लगाएंगे वो खुल जाएगा पूरा आपके लिए। जैसे मान लीजिए आप एक लाइब्रेरी में गए, कोई भी किताब आपने छुई, उसको निकाला, उसका पूरा ज्ञान आपका है। तो उसी प्रकार से कोई भी वस्तु आप सोच लीजिए, उस पर ध्यान लगाइए, उसका पूरा ज्ञान खुल जाएगा। तभी तो लोगों ने पता लगाया कि आकाश में कितने तारे हैं, कहाँ पर हैं, क्या है। इतना जो कुछ ज्ञान है भारत का, वो कोई इंस्ट्रूमेंट से नहीं आया है, वो सब माइंड के पावर से आया है।
एग्जैक्टली।
तो हम लोग अपने ही माइंड के पावर को समझ नहीं पा रहे हैं, रियलाइज नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, ओपन आउट नहीं कर पा रहे हैं। और वो करने का तरीका बहुत सिंपल है। पतंजलि कहते हैं अष्टांग योग प्रैक्टिस करो, हो जाएगा। अष्टांग योग के 2 हिस्से हैं। एक हिस्सा है जिसमें मन बाहर है, उसको अंदर लेके आना है, फर्स्ट पार्ट। सेकंड पार्ट है अंदर आ गया, अब उस पर काम करना है, वो सेकंड पार्ट। तो फर्स्ट पार्ट पहले करिए, उसके बाद सेकंड पार्ट पे आइए, उसके बाद मोक्ष में चले जाइए।